So, Dave here. Haven't made a video in a while. Zoe Zizzles. I think, really to be honest with you, I've erased my Facebook, erased my TikTok. Pretty much I'm getting off of all social media just because I think it's a waste of time and it's a poison to people's minds and lives. I think if it wasn't for social media, I think this country would be a lot better off than it is. But the reason I'm making this video is because I just want it to be a testimony. I'm not even going to put commercials on this. I don't care about making money off it. You know, if people want to watch it, watch it. If you don't, I don't give a shit. Because I really don't care anymore. But I'm hoping someday somebody in the future, maybe before it's too late, will see this and maybe they'll give them pause and they'll think a little bit. But the reason I'm making this video is because I really feel that the United States, we are at the point, we're 1930s Germany right now. And, you know, Trump is a buffoon and all of his idiot cult-like followers are all buffoons, but so are the Nazis. Buffoons can still be dangerous. And like today, for example, the day after Martin Luther King Day, you know, the Democrats are trying to get a voting rights bill passed, and it's not going to pass. The Democrats are so fucking weak. They always are weak. You know, they need to be like the Republicans, stab people in the back and cut throats, but that's why the Democrats are always going to be losers. But anyway, so the thing that I wanted to point out, and the reason why I say that the United States today is like 1930s Germany, because the Republicans who think that they are the patriots, history will eventually call them the villains. And they are the villains. Everything that they do is villainous. They talk about being patriots, but as Oliver Wendell Holmes said, patriotism is the virtue of the vicious. And it reminds me so much of the Nazis who preached this patriotism, this fatherland, this Aryan idea that German people were great and they were the best. It's the same thing that the Republicans say and Trump's followers say. And they talk about snowflakes. They're the biggest snowflakes. They lost an election, but, you know, all they say is Trump won and let's go Brandon. They're so childish. But it's because of their immaturity that it will lead to bloodshed. You know, I see articles all the time about a civil war. And to be honest with you, I don't think there's going to be a civil war. What I think is going to happen is I think that in 2024, I think Trump's going to run again, and I think he's going to win. And I think that when that happens, the United States will become a totalitarian, religious republic, I guess. Will be similar to the way Germany was in the 1930s. And it's funny because if you go back and look at history, since the Germans back then, they were set up on like a parliamentary system, the Nazis never won a large percentage of the votes. But because the other parties won even less, that's what led Hitler's rise to power. And the reason why I compare the Trump maggots and the cultists to the Nazis is because history's repeating itself. You know, the burning of the Reichstag is very similar to what happened on January 6th with the Capitol. You know, Trump's people, his followers, the Republicans, the conservatives, think that they're patriots, that they're doing good for the country. But they are the villains. They're the ones that are destroying the country. You know, they want to blame homosexuals. They want to blame immigrants. They want to blame people who aren't white. Same thing as Hitler. Hitler put the Aryans above all the other peoples, the Jews, the Gypsies, the Poles, the gays, the mentally retarded. All of those people had to be eliminated. It's the same playbook that the conservative maggots are doing under Trump. Trump is Adolf Hitler. You know, what we're seeing is a replay of history. You know, Fox News, Tucker Carlson is Joseph Goebbels. That's the propaganda. You know, this is the end of democracy in the Western world, and this is the end of the United States. And myself, I'm never going to vote again. I live in Texas, and Texas has made it so difficult to vote. I don't even care anymore. I don't. I really don't. I have one child who's a girl who, you know, if there are wars or something, she probably won't have to be a part of that, so I can rest easy. And I'm, 40, almost 48. I probably won't live to see the true fall of everything, but it's coming. And to be honest with you, I really don't care anymore. You know, my family and I are all vaccinated, and I don't care if the unvaccinated don't want to get vaccinated. I think they should get rid of mandates. I hope all the people that are unvaccinated die. I do. I wish that COVID would become more deadly so that all of the unvaccinated would die. I want to see the boomers die. I want to see the Republicans die. I want to see the Trump tards die. I want to see the Q idiots die. I want to see the anti-vaxxers die. I do not care. I am an atheist. Go to church, hug each other, kiss each other, spread COVID, and die. I like it. I like to see idiots die. You know, I go on Sorry Anti-Vaxxer and the Herman Cain Award every day and read the stories of you idiots dying. I wish Biden would get rid of the mandates. I want more people to die. I don't care if America crumbles. Fuck the flag. Fuck the Constitution. Fuck the Bill of Rights. Fuck the Founding Fathers. Fuck it all. I'm like Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight. Some men want to watch the world burn, and I'm one of those men. So I hope I live long enough to see it all come down. I hope. That's my dream. I want to see America die. I hope we go to war with Russia over Ukraine. I hope that we go to war with China because I want to see American troops killed. I do. I want to see America lose like they've lost every war since World War II. Korea was a tie. Vietnam was a loss. Iraq, Afghanistan, loss. China will be a loss, and Russia will be a loss. I want to see it. I am excited to see destruction. I am an agent of chaos. I love chaos. Please don't get vaccinated. So I could read your social media posts of how your family is going to GoFundMe because your ass is dead. Thoughts and prayers. Go fuck yourself. You're worm food. This is the end. If you read anything, because I know all of you Trump idiots and most people out there don't read at all, but read. They are saying that we've entered the 6th mass extinction. That by 2050, 50% of the mammals on the face of this planet will be gone. Human beings are going to go extinct. As soon as the pollinators, the bees, the butterflies, all those insects die, then human beings will die. If you don't believe in climate change, just look at tornadoes happening in December. Just look at the drought and the forest fires in the West. Read right now of what's happening in the Southern Hemisphere. Because up in the Northern Hemisphere, it's winter, but in the Southern Hemisphere, it's summer. And they're having temperatures, record-breaking temperatures of 50 degrees Celsius, which is 120 degrees. in places in South America, the Middle East, Australia, temperatures that they've never seen before. The world is dying. This is the end. This is the last hurrah of the human species. It's all over. That's why they make remakes, or they take and make movies of comic books, because there's no new ideas. The well is dry. There's no new anything. This is the end. This is the final chapter. We can't come up with any new ideas, so we rehash old ideas. It's so pathetic when they bring these old actors back to play people, to play heroes that they were 40 years ago. Nobody wants to see that. That's why movies like Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull and the new Matrix movie and the Star Wars movies, why they suck, because humanity is dead. A 70-year-old Harrison Ford playing Han Solo or Indiana Jones is not a hero anymore. I want it to be a young Han Solo or a young Indiana. I don't want to be a 77-year-old Indiana Jones or Han Solo. I don't want to be a 70-year-old Luke Skywalker. I don't want to be a 50-something-year-old Neo. It's pathetic. But that's because we're at the end game. It is the end game. We are in 1930s Germany. Trump will come back to power in 2024. Democracy will be dead. Voting will be eliminated. Eventually, the undesirables will be killed. Because you can go on any of the right-wing websites and read about how they're bloodlust. They can't wait to start killing. I'm sure you've seen people on social media in videos saying about how, when do we get to start using the guns? It's coming. Eventually, they will put the trans people and the undocumented workers and the blacks and anybody else they don't like in camps and kill them. Because what's going to happen is, even though they'll never admit that climate change is real, it's happening. And when we start running out of food and we start running out of water, the people in power will kill the poor. And they'll say, we don't have enough food to feed everybody. We need to start eliminating folks. And they'll start eliminating the undesirables, which are the poor, the elderly. You know, that's why Ken Paxton here in Texas said, in order to get the economy open, we're willing to sacrifice some old people, because the Republican Party is the party of death. And they are willing to sacrifice people for capitalism, for money. So when we start running out of food, we start running out of water, the poor, the blacks, the wetbacks, the gays, the mentally retarded, the people on welfare will be the first to die. Because that's how every society does it. If you go back to Russia, to Leninism, to Stalin, to Mao, to the Khmer Rouge, to the Nazis, that's what happens. And that's what's going to happen here. I say in 10 years, 2030. Because we don't, people believe in God. They think that God is going to come save us. There is no God. Life is random. That's where religion and belief in God, it just drives me crazy, because, and like the Republicans in this belief in this deep state, the reason why the pandemic can't be controlled, the reason why nothing can be controlled, is because you can put a label on a person and say he's a president, or you can put a label on a person and say he's a general or he's a doctor. He's still a human being. He don't know any more than you do. He doesn't. And we think that there's these all-powerful groups. They're not. They don't control nothing. They don't control nature. They don't control the planet. Their power is make-believe. It's make-believe. There is no deep state because they have no power. They can't control anything. What human beings do is when everything's good, there's peace. But when everything starts to go to shit, we start getting scared. So we start getting into little groups by usually race or political party or religious affiliation. And then we go, do we have enough food? Do we have enough water? Do we have enough shelter? If we don't, then we take from the weak. Human beings are talking monkeys. We're no better than any other creature out on the Serengeti because that's where we arose and that's where we will die. We are animals, and animals will do whatever it takes to survive. And the strong will go on and the weak will die. And right now we're seeing Mother Nature, a little glimpse of that, because Mother Nature is killing off the weak-minded, and those who are smart, like myself, who have been vaccinated, live. And eventually it'll come down to political power, limited resources, continuous war, and death of the undesirables. And I hope if you're watching this video and those things are happening, remember, there's nothing you can do about it. We are already on the path. The world is gone. The sixth mass extinction has started. The end of democracy has started. Soon, limited food supplies and water supplies will lead to endless wars, and millions and billions will die of starvation and war and poverty and disease. Because if you think COVID is the last virus to arise as the ice melts and things that we've never seen before begin to escape into the atmosphere, you're a fool. So the best thing to do is take a gun, kill the weak in your family so they won't have to suffer, save one bullet for yourself, and end it. And then you'll have peace, because there is no God, there is no hell, there's only blissful blackness.